Hey there, so today I want to return to the wonderful world of entertainment, and today I want to return to my part-time vocation, cringe farming. Man, this is the good stuff too. If you're wondering about cringe farming, just to say, cringe farming is basically going out and looking at these crops, but saying, I want to build the ultimate strain. I want to build something that basically immunizes the world to all the horrors that are out there, because if you drink down enough cringe, well, it'll make your life feel better. Now, if you're one of those people that says, man, Tug, I'm an anti-vaxxer, why did you put it that way? Well, just hold on for a second, because I'm dusting up my hand with a little bit of baby powder. I'll be right over to slap you. No, I'm just playing. Actually, I love tuning into this kind of stuff, because whether we laugh, whether we cry, whether we bang our heads in frustration, at the end of the day, we can say we're better for it. Because when you look at all of this stuff, I mean, again, it makes your life seem, well, if I don't have to deal with it, it's definitely better. And if you deal with that, well, I'm the umbrella guy. And even if it's raining inside there, I'm going to bring you a little bit of dryness so you don't drown in those tears. Now, today we're going to tune in to the Mary Sue again. And if you're like, why do we keep going to that side? Well, think about cringe like an elevator. This right here, it goes to the penthouse floor. I mean, you gotta have a special key to get there. Well, they are tuned right into it. Now, today we're going to be talking about Rachel True. If you know the craft, if you look at the poster, Rachel True, this is her. You can guess exactly why she's complaining about something. She's complaining about not getting convention work while these other three girls are getting booked together because, well, that's about white. That's literally what she says. This is brought to you, too, by Princess Weeks, and I always find Princess Weeks to be kind of funny because this is the person that told us that we're all racist if you don't want certain things, while also saying, I don't want a black Buffy vampire slayer. So I thought that was pretty funny. You know, way to stick to the course there. Now, here's Rachel True introducing us to this idea that's going on in the article. I think it's interesting these conventions are about booking Nev, Feruza, and Robin all together, but excluding me. Sounds about white. 11,000 people love that too, because you know, in the land of virtue, it's easy to give it away. Here's the land of plenty. Why don't you buckle up and take that for a ride? Now, the Mary Sue then tells us about the movie, and the reason that they do, I think, is to try to say, well, look at the racism that was in the movie. Can't you see how it leaks out into real life? It's kind of funny the way they put that together, because it's ridiculous. I mean, what does that have to do with anything? But of course, they make it segue there. Now then, Rachel True tells us one more thing. A Hollywood lifetime of sucking up racist aggressions, micro and macro, while white actors insisted right up until Trump took office that racism was over, takes a toll. I'm effing tired as F some days. This thread just made me rim. Man, I hate this kind of stuff. Rim. The SE feeling of watching the other three girls present that year at the MTV Movie Awards while I sat in the audience despite having two movies coming out. These things aren't the worst to suffer, but accumulated over the years are exhausting. So again, you know, all of that stuff happened because, hey, monsters out there. It's kind of interesting, too, because someone says, you know what else? You know, I've always been bothered by the fact we didn't get to see your character's family. I mean, what's up with that? Rachel True's response, the scene of my family was cut out. You know, because, again, ism. Monsters out there. This entire thread, they say, is especially really poignant, and while there are some who will write True off as just complaining, the reality is that, even as a viewer, it is clear that her character has most of the cut from her background absent parents. By bringing this up, True is highlighting the way that people of color characters get ignored in fandom because they do. You know what's very interesting interesting about that is movies, they make cuts. Back in the day, you had a certain platform that movies were actually supposed to adhere to. It was the time before The Hobbits, walking and walking and walking, an extended edition of walking, those type of movies. Yeah, you were talking about around 90-minute segments. That's what people aimed at. If it went over, then people got worried. You had all of this stuff that came up. But of course, let's ignore that. Let's ignore the way that sets up and continue on. Tokenism is one of the ways that media loves to cover its ass, presenting things as diverse, but failing to realize that true diversity comes from appreciating all the characters it equals. It doesn't help when those characters are excluded from general events, or when events that do feature them still choose to highlight others. So basically, if you have a segment that's highlighted there, well, if it's highlighting others while it's highlighting you, that's still not actually equal. Isn't that a weird thing there to say? We want people to be equal, but when events come up that do feature someone and they feature other people as well, that's not equal either. Weird statement there. Yep, her character wasn't a minor character. She's on the poster. She's a lead. And True has a very visible online presence. When you think about people that are on posters, sure, they're always in the movies. They're always front and center, right? She actually did have a pretty impressive presence within that. It does make you wonder what exactly has gone on. Why exactly this person isn't invited to certain things? Was that somebody leaving them out intentionally? Was it thinking they maybe cost too much? Are they hard to deal with? What exactly is going on? Of course, the Mary Sue, they respond in one way. But man, seeing posts like this, where that goes to, isn't that kind of an interesting way to carry that? Now, the convention, they actually respond. They weren't going to book me anyways, and now they're saying that they wouldn't book me. And, basically, if you look at the way that this posts here, it says, John, we're going to pass on Rachel. This was totally uncalled for. Yeah, I would love to basically be lambasted because I was thinking about going out and possibly rectifying a situation. Maybe not. We don't know what they were doing. But the way to truly bring this up is instead of contacting people, just to blow up out there and to say, why these people are doing that? They're doing it because they're all racist. Look at the other girls out there, because highlighting their race and then saying, well, look at me, that's totally not being, obsessed with race or anything, right? Sure. What she's going through, too, it says, isn't rare. This is what it's like being a black person in these spaces when your character is the token black member of the white team, and the writers would rather use that as seasoning than as the meat of the story. I'm telling you, this kind of stuff, it's actually very fun to read about. And, of course, they like to bring up things like Black Panther. While I'm glad that True is bringing this up, because as we celebrate the Black Panther winning the SAG award, it's important to remember that this is the exception to the rule. There are plenty of black actors and actresses who have to deal with this BS that goes on in fandom, but are forced to stay quiet about it for the sake of propriety. Yeah, terrible, terrible monsters out there. Because for some reason or another, you don't get booked. And, well, that has to be ism. I swear. It's really interesting, like I say, that this stuff is presented. And not only is it presented, but it's presented as gospel because, hey, why not take the word of it? Sounds about white, like I say. But tell me what you think about this kind of stuff. Would you want to back somebody, too? Would you want to go and bring them in if they basically have that blow up online and say, I'm not being invited because, and they throw you under the bus for, of course, being racist on that? Would that make you want to go out and kowtow to the mob that's saying, do it or else? Or would you say, yeah, I don't really want that? I'm wondering how you would handle that. Like I said, tell me what you think. If you like this kind of content, make sure that you sub, make sure that you like, make sure that you go in, smack that bell around, whatever you enjoy. enjoy there. You know, I don't really want to mess up your kink with smacking bells. Also, if you want to go further, there are links within the description, you know, because half of this stuff gets demonetized anyway, because, hey, YouTube loves us all. Also, leave me your comments. I'm wondering what you think on this for real. I actually do read quite a few comments there. I enjoy that. And as always, I enjoy you. So, of course, you know, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming here. Sincerely, I do mean that. And we'll do this again tomorrow, the next day, and whenever we get around to it.